Morning, happy Tuesday, and we have 10 games today. 10. And 4 of them start at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. And then they're all done by 8:30 my time, all 10 of them. So it's going to be a very, very busy evening very early. So as we go through these things in order, I've just got the basics. We're all good. As we are 3 weeks into the season now. All right. Toronto, they're in against Boston tonight. Toronto's 5-3-2 after last night's overtime loss against Columbus. And Boston, they're 5-1-2. And of course, Boston lost to Toronto in overtime on Saturday. So this is a rematch, and we expect things to be kind of lively between these two. It should be a fun game. Marner's the leading scorer for Toronto, 3 goals, 9 assists. Matthews, 8 goals, 3 assists. Riley with 2 goals and 9 assists. Now, on the slow side of things, Tyson Barrie with 4 assists. That kind of stands out that he has 4 assists in 10 games. You would have expected a little bit more out of him. And Frederic Gauthier, 2 goals and an assist. Very prominent when he's on the ice. Not an offensive guy, so I was trying to make sure I had 2 slower starts out of the bunch, and Gauthier was one of the few. Toronto has a lot of guys who are scoring at about the rate you'd expect. On the Boston side, Pastrnak, 9 goals, 6 assists. He's been a machine over the last 2.5 weeks, and it's up to Toronto to try to shut that down. Marchand, 4 goals, 8 assists, and Bergeron, 2 goals and 6 assists for him. On the slow side of things, Charlie McAvoy just has a single assist to his record so far, and Kuhlman has no points as of yet. Hutchinson's listed as likely. Honestly, I find that weird. You'd play Freddie Anderson against Columbus, and then you'd play Hutchinson against Boston. Or the option being you're going to play Freddie Anderson in both halves of a back-to-back. So Hutchinson seems like an odd choice. Boston's going with Tuukka Rask, so this will be a chance for Hutchinson to show. They're just fine with him in net as the backup. I'm going to apologize now if there's a whole bunch of cuts in this because my throat's been bugging me the last couple of days. Anyways, San Jose's in against Buffalo. This, of course, is one of those 7 o'clock Eastern starts. San Jose, 3-5 start to the season, so they've put themselves behind the 8 ball. Buffalo is 7-1-1, and this is a strange position for Buffalo to be in. And I know people are going to point to last year, and rightfully so. They had that 10-game winning streak. Everything looked great. The thing was, during that 10-game winning streak, we were talking about shootout wins and overtime wins, and they were eking out victories. But this feels different. And against a team in San Jose who doesn't have a great record, but they're a very talented team. We'll see how things go tonight. On the San Jose side of things, no confirmation in net yet for them. Their leading scorers, Burns, 2 goals, 6 assists. Couture, 1 goal, 7 assists. And Evander Kane has 4 goals and 2 assists. On the slow side, Thornton, 3 assists for Joe Thornton so far this year. Eventually you get older, and eventually your ability to produce points drops. So that's how I see it. Meyer, 2 goals and an assist. He's been better lately, but still, Timo Meyer had expected more than 2 goals and an assist in his first 8 games. On the Buffalo side, Eichel, 4 goals, 6 assists, so he has 10 points in 9 games. Dahlin, 1 goal, 8 assists. Olofsson, 6 goals and 2 assists. On the slow side, Jimmy Vesey with 2 assists. And that doesn't really show just how he's been a good player for Buffalo. The goals are going to happen. He just hasn't put up the numbers yet, but he's been very useful for them. And Sobotka with 1 assist because he's off to a slow start, because of course he is. I would expect Jones for San Jose. I'd be very surprised if it's not Jones. And then for Buffalo, it is Carter Hutton. He has been confirmed. So there you go with that one. Next up, Pittsburgh. The Penguins in against Florida. So for Florida, it's been kind of a rough start. For Pittsburgh, they're 6-3. They have to be happy with where they're at, considering how many guys are out. And Florida 3-2-3. Less happy, and yes, I understand Florida's had some very difficult opponents along the way, but still, you want to get a quick start to the season. It can be hard when you're losing so many games at the start of the year, and you're watching teams get ahead of you in the standings. Catching up is not that easy in this game. Pittsburgh's leading scorers: Crosby, 4 goals, 8 assists; Letang, 4 goals and 6 assists; Jake Gensel, 5 goals and 3 assists. On the slower side, Simone, 1 goal, 3 assists for him. He's had first line time this season. Cahoon, 2 assists. So he's still taking his time getting going through 9 games so far. No confirmation on starting goalies. I'm thinking it's probably going to be Murray, but does it matter? The difference between Murray and Jari has been very, very little. On the Florida side, Hoffman, 5 goals, 3 assists to lead them. Huberdeau, 3 goals and 5 assists. Dadonov, 4 goals and 3 assists. And Connolly also has 4 goals and 3 assists to tie himself with Dadonov for third place. On the slower side, Frankie Vetrano, a goal and an assist so far this season, and Colton Sevier with 2 assists. Sevier's not expected to have a lot of points anyways. But again, with some teams, when I was trying to pick guys off to slow starts, there were some teams that just didn't have very many players that were having offensive troubles. Bobrovsky's been confirmed for Florida, and he's got to bring his numbers up. So even if you're of the mind that Florida will be fine, the numbers for Bobrovsky have been troublesome so far. And it's not just the team in front of him, because Montembeau's numbers are better. So we'll see if tonight against Pittsburgh, which is a good test for him, if he's able to start bringing his numbers back into line with what was expected when he signed there for a lot of money. It was a lot. When your money is measured by how many trucks would be needed to bring it to your house, you're making a lot of money. Next up, it's just one, because if you're using $1,000 bills. Anyway. Arizona in against the New York Rangers tonight. This one also, of course, starting at 7 o'clock Eastern. So the Arizona Coyotes 4-2-1. They're off to a very good start. The Rangers 2-4. Not off to a great start, but they had a good second half of that game against Vancouver, and we'll see if they can turn something into a win here today. Schmaltz, 3 goals, 5 assists for Arizona. He's been fantastic. Clayton Keller, 6 assists, and Connor Garland with 4 goals and an assist for them. On the slower side, Brad Richardson's back to normal this year. He's down to an assist so far. Of course, he had 19 goals last season, which was high for him. That was a career high, and we knew he wasn't going to hit that again. Grabner with just the 1 goal so far. They were kind of counting on Grabner to maybe have a bit of a comeback. Maybe him and Kessel would work. And so far, no dice between those two. On the Rangers side of things, no, we'll get to the starters after. Zibanejad, 4 goals, 7 assists. So with 11 points in 6 games, he's the leader for the New York Rangers. Panarin, 4 goals, 2 assists. And Trouba, a goal and 5 assists. So the 2 new guys are 2 of the top 3 scorers. On the slower side, Capo Caco does stand out with just having the 1 goal thus far in his career. Chris Kreider with 3 assists. A little bit of a surprise he doesn't have at least a goal yet. On the goaltending side, Darcy Kemper and Alexander Georgiev will be the starters for their respective teams. So Kemper is still getting the lion's share for the Arizona Coyotes, which should surprise nobody. And on the Rangers side, Georgiev is looking like he's probably going to get more of an even split of games with Lundqvist this year than we might normally see. So, that should be an entertaining game in that we have a Rangers team that's off to the slower than expected start. So that time I had to pause because Bear was crying in the hallway, and I don't know what she does that for, but when I call her, she's like, oh, yeah, right. Anyways, there you go. Now I have to change boards for the first time out of 2 because of the 10 games tonight. Next up, Vancouver. Their road trip continues tonight. This has been a kind of a brutal road trip, so we'll see how much energy they've got today after the back-to-back on Saturday and Sunday. And now they're playing again today, and they played, I believe it was Thursday before that. It's a rough road trip. Again, whoever makes these schedules. Vancouver being in against Detroit, a team that should be kind of angry and desperate. And these teams have opposite records. The Canucks are 5-3. Detroit is 3-5. The funny thing is with Vancouver being 5-3, there are people who just don't believe it. So until they're at around midway through the season, people aren't going to, and even then people are like, they're still going to fall apart. I'm reserved in my opinion on them. I think they're going to be close to a playoff spot. I don't think they'll get in, but I think they'll be close. Okay, leading scorers, Miller, 4 goals, 4 assists. Pettersson, 2 goals and 6 assists. And Besser, 2 goals and 5 assists. So, well, again, I keep reading about how Besser's not playing well. He's got 7 points in 8 games. He's playing fine. Jake Virtanen does stand out for his not performing well. 2 assists so far this season. He missed a glorious chance at a goal last game. Ferland, 1 goal and 1 assist in 8 games so far with the Canucks. On the Detroit side of things, Anthony Mantha, 6 goals and 4 assists for him in 8 games. Bertuzzi, 3 goals, 5 assists, and Larkin with 2 goals and 5 assists. On the slow side, they really need a goal from Andreas. Athanasiou is at 1 assist, and Mike Green has 1 goal so far this year to his record. Markstrom's listed as likely. Howard is listed as likely. Those are 2 solid goaltenders playing behind teams that not much is expected of, so they're both going to be pretty busy goaltenders this year. Although that being said, I do think Demko's going to get more starts. I think Demko showed during the time where Markstrom was out with a family issue, and we still don't know what that is yet. I think he showed that, yeah, he's ready to be a regular goaltender, at the very least a 1B, if not ready to be the starter next year. Moving along. Anaheim. At 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific, they will be in Nashville. Anaheim is 6-3. Nashville's 4-3-1. And Nashville's been wildly inconsistent. So it'll be interesting to see how they do tonight against the fast-starting Anaheim Ducks. The Ducks, Silverberg, 5 goals, 3 assists as their leading scorer. Raquel, 3 goals, 4 assists. And Henrique, 5 goals and 1 assist. On the slower side, Troy Terry just with the 1 goal and Maxime Comtois with 1 assist. So, and Max Jones has been a healthy scratch as well, very, very recently. So, some of the kids not coming along as fast as Anaheim might hope, but that being said, they're all playing, and they're all learning to play together, so that's important. I would expect Gibson here. They haven't confirmed a goaltender yet. On the Nashville side, Ellis, 1 goal, 10 assists, with 11 points in 9 games. I'm not thinking Ellis is going to get 100 points this year, but stranger things have happened. Duchesne, 2 goals and 8 assists. Forsberg, 5 goals, 3 assists. On the slower side, Craig Smith, 1 assist for them so far. And Yannick Weber, yet to get a point this season. Pekka Rinne is their confirmed starter. And we know what he can do. So if it's Rinne and Gibson, that should be a fun matchup. And I would not be surprised to see Anaheim get the win. But that being said, I wouldn't be surprised if it's 2-1 in the third for Anaheim, and then Nashville scores 4 goals, because that's kind of the way they've been doing things this year. The come-from-behind victory, I mentioned this in a recent video. Last year, that was all Calgary stuff. This year, it looks like maybe Nashville's going to be the team. So if Anaheim gets a lead, they have to work pretty darn hard to hold that, especially in Nashville, where the fans will taunt you incessantly. And we'll see how much taunting goes on tonight from the fans. Next up, Edmonton in against Minnesota. And again, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. Yeah, this one's going to be interesting in that the Oilers at 7-1-1. Well, now they're coming off of back-to-back games without a point from McDavid. Now, those people who've been waiting for Edmonton to fall apart, now they can look at that game. And they can look at a few recent games and say, the cracks are starting to show. And now they're in against Minnesota. Minnesota's 2-6. This is your classic trap game. Not putting up a Akbar magnet, because I'm not convinced that the Oilers are one of those teams that'll think, well, we're going to win this one, and not play as well as they otherwise would. McDavid's the leading scorer for the Oilers, 5 goals, 12 assists. Draisaitl, 6 goals and 10 assists for him. And the real deal, James Neal, 9 goals and an assist for 10 points so far in 9 games. On the slower side, Jujhar Khaira has yet to register a point this year. And Chason, in the 6 games he's played, only has 1 helper. So, when they re-signed Chason, there was a chance that his totals would drop. And I think James Neal is getting some of the opportunities that he was getting last year. No confirmation in net. Doesn't matter. Koskinen and Smith have both been really good. On the Minnesota side, Hunt is still their leading scorer with 3 goals and 2 assists. Suter with a goal and 4 assists. Jason Zucker's right there with 3 goals and 1 assist, but the media started speculating, well, maybe Zucker will be available. Maybe they should trade Zucker. Hey, are they going to trade him? So it's back. It's back again. On the slower side, Eric Stahl with 2 assists, and Minnesota fans will tell you he's been struggling lately. Kevin Fiala with the 1 assist so far this season. Dubnyk is listed as likely. It will probably be Dubnyk. I would think Koskinen, but Edmonton's looking to add to the misery of the Minnesota Wild. Minnesota is looking to dig their way out of this hole they put themselves in and beat another Canadian team. Their 2 wins this year, Ottawa and Montreal, so they're able to beat Canadian teams much better than American teams thus far this year. We'll see if that holds true tonight. That's about the one glimmer of hope, I guess, that Minnesota fans may have right now. It's been a rough start to the year for Minnesota. Next up, Los Angeles Kings. Yes, the Kings. And they're in against the Winnipeg Jets. So for the Jets, coming off of that shootout win over Edmonton, that chess match that game was, and now they got a Kings team coming in who are kind of the wild, wild west of the NHL. They can score sometimes. They can fight as well. There's a lot of things they can do. And if they put it all together, they could be a successful team. But they haven't been able to put it all together consistently, and they're 3-5. Whereas Winnipeg 5-5 and kind of just in a holding pattern, which is fine because they're Jets. It's kind of how they work. Leading scorers for LA, Kopitar, 3 goals, 6 assists. Kovalchuk, 3 goals and 4 assists. Brown, 3 goals, 3 assists. Kovalchuk had, I think it was 4 points in the first 2 games of the year. I think he had 6 points through the first 4. He's now down to 7 points in the first 8. So that fallback that he had last year, he's having it sooner this year. On the slower side, Adrian Kempe with 2 assists, and Alex Iafallo, who was their leading scorer early last year, 1 goal and 1 assist for him. On the Winnipeg side, Scheifele, 4 goals, 8 assists. Laine, 3 goals and 9 assists. Ehlers, 3 goals, 5 assists. And on the slow side, Dahlstrom has yet to register a point. And Adam Lowry, despite all of the good opportunities he had in their last game, he is still sitting on 0 points as well. Hellebuck's been confirmed for Winnipeg. I honestly would be surprised if they didn't go back with Quick tonight. Quick played very well in the last game. I think ideally they want Quick to be playing as well as possible. And I think they'd like him playing regularly. I think then you could probably trade him. Because again, keep in mind, next year they're going to have 3 goalies. And any of them would require waivers to get sent down. And that includes Peterson, Campbell, Quick. Quick's likely the odd man out in that situation. So that being said, I now have to change boards one last time. Now, Vegas is coming off of a hard loss last night against Philly, and now they get to go to Chicago. Ta-da! This is going to be a big test for Vegas tonight on back-to-backs. 6-4 is the record for the Vegas Golden Knights. 2-3-1 is now the record for Chicago. And I think Chicago's better than their record, but they have to show that tonight or I'm just wrong. So on the Vegas side, Stone, 6 goals, 7 assists. Pacioretty, 2 goals, 8 assists. Carlson, 1 goal, 8 assists. On the slower side, there's not that many guys that aren't scoring for Vegas, to be honest. So I put up Merrill with 2 assists. It's arguable that's his average. Eakins played 6 games and he has yet to register a point. So, yeah. On the Chicago side, Patrick Kane, 3 goals and 5 assists. DeBrincat, 2 goals and 2 assists. Saad, 2 goals, 2 assists. And Nylander, 2 goals and 2 assists. The interesting thing is, DeBrincat with only 2 goals in 6 games, I would have expected at least 3 at this point of the season. And Jonathan Toews stands out with his 1 goal and 1 assist so far, as well as Zach Smith, who's been a healthy scratch. So Zach Smith, who they added from the Ottawa Senators, now he's started to become a healthy scratch. He has no points yet for Chicago. Was that a trade that was won by the Senators? Are we actually gonna say that's a trade that they won? Leonard's listed as likely for Chicago, and it'll be Fleury. That's why Dansk was left in the net last night against Philly. Dansk was kind of left hung out to dry because they knew they were playing tonight, and Fleury was going to be the guy tonight. So, sorry Dansk, you're stuck there. Doesn't matter how many they score, you're not coming out. So for Chicago, this is it's a good early test for them as to whether or not they are better than their record, which has been my statement on them, or if, yeah, they're going to start to fall apart. I'm surprised as well that Taves only has the 2 points in 6 games so far. I've heard Chelsea dagger seemingly a lot when I've watched their games, but there's some dread in that song too, because it'll get stuck in your head. It's not just like, oh, he's saying he doesn't like Chicago. No, it's just that song gets stuck in your head for the rest of the night. It's horrible. It's the best goal song, and yet it's the worst at the same time. Finally, Capitals. Starting at 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific, whereas the Chicago game starts at 5:30 Pacific. The Calgary Flames will be at home to the Washington Capitals. So, yeah, this is going to be an interesting game, isn't it? The Calgary Flames at 5-4-1 at home against the Washington Capitals, who are 6-2-2. The Capitals, Carlson, 3 goals and 15 assists, 18 points. He is your league leader in scoring. If he continues to produce at a rate of 18 points every 10 games, it'll be very hard to deny him a Norris Trophy. Yeah, there are Capitals fans going, oh, the NHL will find a way. They may very well do that. Ovechkin, 6 goals and 4 assists. Forget the slow start for him. Oshie, doing his best impression of Ovechkin, with 7 goals so far this year and 2 assists. On the slow side, again, this is a team that doesn't have a lot of guys with slow starts, so I went with Leipzig with 2 assists. And Chandler Stevenson with just the 1 assist so far. But Leipzig, as has been said before, he always looks like he's going to provide more offense than he does. I'd be surprised if they don't go with Holtby tonight, but Samsonov is excellent, so whoever they go with, they're fine. On the Flames side, Johnny Gaudreau, 3 goals, 5 assists. That is a slow start for Johnny Gaudreau. The chances are there. The frustration is there. Matt Tkachuk, 2 goals, 6 assists, and Lindholm, 5 goals, 1 assist. Calgary scoring has not been what it was last year to this point. Frolik, 1 goal so far this season, and Lucic, of course, with the 1 assist. It's a slow start. 1 point in 10 games is definitely a slow start, and none of them goals. And that point is not a goal, I should say. None of them, like there's tons. Starting goaltender for Calgary, it'll be Riddick. I'd be very surprised if they went with Talbot again, although Talbot had an excellent game the other night. I would expect Riddick. We're already seeing some teams that are on these boards a lot for previews and reviews that are playing a ton of hockey early. Both of these teams are already into game number 11. But it works out to roughly a game every other night in the National Hockey League. If we spread it out much further than that, we'd be awarding the Stanley Cup in August. And then training camp would be a week later. So I get it, but some of these schedules I look at and I think, yeah, these guys get paid a lot of money, and you know, we look down our noses at what some of these guys make, but this is not an easy job. And there are a lot of players in the American League just waiting to take those jobs. So we'll see who fights the hardest to keep their jobs tonight in the National Hockey League in these 10 games. So let me know your winners. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just tap it upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support, and I will talk to you again soon.